bags, raise the flags. Hit them fast, secure the bag. Don't even blink, make them walk the plank. Light them up, let's make them sing. Fire the cannons, fire the cannons, fire the cannons. On Bucs, yeah, we on. Fire the cannons, fire the cannons, fire the cannons. The whole field's our red zone. Let me give you 55 reasons why this is our season. Palm trees breezing, opposing teams bleeding.
All right, welcome back to Buck What You Heard. My name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. You follow me, I will follow you back. And tonight it looks like I'm the Lone Ranger. My boy KB is out doing his thing. Pless is out doing his thing. And who knows, we may get somebody to drop in here sooner or later. And as promised, I know I've been lazy about getting on here. I just haven't really jumped on. And throughout the season, it's just been one thing or the other. But I'm back. And tonight, before I do anything else, my name is Gene. You can reach me at Buck What You Heard. Remember, you follow me, I'll follow you back. And I want to let you guys know that, I'm getting close to this Baker Mayfield, Todd Bowles apology tour. And I don't know if you've been following me for some years, you know that if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't have a problem being wrong. And 9 times out of 10, when I'm wrong, that means that the team's doing good or something was worked out that I was like kind of against or, I wasn't feeling it. So I'm going to start from the beginning. I had doubts about Todd Bowles coming in. I mean, I just did just because of last year. And, when you look at what the Bucs have done historically, when they've had opportunities to do things and they just haven't done it, I'm just like, man, I've seen this movie before. I'm not going through this again. So for me, I was like, nah, I'm not feeling this guy. And then when the losing streak happened and it didn't feel, it didn't feel like this team was really going to do anything. But you know what? Lo and behold, here we go. Here they are. And they've turned everything around. And, they are on they're on a winning streak at this moment. And I do apologize about the lighting. I am away from my computer right now. I'm actually using my Surface Pro for this call for doing this tonight. But real talk, I this is what kind of wanted to talk about the game. And these are things that we've seen consistently over the past couple of games where the Bucs have just really put things together and they've been able to play as a team and as a collective unit. And I think one of the biggest things that stuck out to me was the offensive line. The offensive line was a question. There was so many question marks at the beginning of the season. It's like, what is this team going to do? And then they at the beginning of the season, they got off to a great start. This team continued to grow together. And we've seen these guys just kind of come into their own slowly but surely. So definitely excited for what we're seeing here. You see some of the former players on other teams and what they're doing, and you compare that to what Tampa's doing now. And, it's exciting to see. It's a beautiful thing. So I personally am really looking forward to, the next steps, what's going to happen. The Bucs have put themselves in first place. They've gone out and won with great play calling, great execution, and, a lot of there hasn't been much, where they've self-inflicted injuries or, self-inflicted penalties and that kind of thing. So super excited about that, man. And I believe that this team can do some big things. Going out there and beating Jacksonville the way they did, Jacksonville, who is another playoff team in the AFC, and for Tampa to go out and play the way they did. And, just that's a huge statement right there. And not to downplay this, but this is a huge game coming up against the New Orleans Saints, division rival. The New Orleans Saints have been a problem for the Bucs for years and years and years. So it's just like, man, what do you do other than get ready and prepared for that and go out and execute the way you know that you can do it? So there you go, man. The Bucs are in a really good position, and we hope, you hope that that's what they come in and end up doing. Man, this is kind of weird. I don't have I normally I have like two screens and I have all my notes here and I'm just kind of freestyling here. And I have been watching a lot of the podcasts. I've been, I try not to watch a lot of the like the 3-letter network or the 4-letter network. And, everybody's, singing the praises of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which it should be. I mean, Tampa has gone out there and done something that you rarely see, where they were in basically salary cap hell. I think somebody said they were like 80 something $million under the cap or something or above the cap or something like that. They went out and got pieces that they needed. And, they really put together a really good run here. So super excited for that. Here we go. I'll bring David on here. David Wash was on with us last week. And I thought I'd, see if I could get him on. I put the link in the wrong chat. I tell you what, let me bring him on. Hey, David, how you doing, man?
Hey, pretty good. How's it going, man? What's up?
Good. How do I sound? I am running I don't have my normal setup, so I'm just hoping.
You sound fine. You sound fine to me. I'm actually working. I work off a Surface Pro myself. So.
All right. Yeah, and it just in a pinch, I just happened to have it, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to get back into doing this again. So, how are things going, man? What are your thoughts on this game, and just really your thoughts on the Bucs right now and where they are?
Okay. I will be one of the first to eat crow whenever I talk about Todd Bowles. I wasn't sure about him. I really thought, that the team wasn't headed in the right direction beginning of the year, and they've turned around. I mean, when you're on a 4-game winning streak, when the team just doesn't give up,
right?
And just they have really come a long way. That the Green Bay game a couple weeks ago, I kept saying, okay, let's just see what happens. Let's see, is this going to continue? And then Jacksonville came to town and it continued,
Yeah.
And then now we're going to go to New Orleans and we're going to beat the snot out of them. And then it's going to just continue again, and then the Carolina game, who cares?
This Saints game has me nervous. And I'll tell you why. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I don't know if this is PTSD or what it is, and I'm not downing. This team has been playing amazing. But New Orleans Saints, division rival. Division games are games that just give me headaches, because when you look at the Saints and how they're coached and how they play and how they've been playing, and then you look at the Bucs and what the Bucs have done, you think automatically, man, it's a game we're going to go in and stomp them out. And, historically, we've seen how the Bucs have been in the driver's seat and made things a little bit more difficult getting to the final destination. So I really hope that these guys are focused on this game. These guys are focused on shutting them down and going out there and actually, competing on all 3 levels: special teams, offense, and defense.
Oh yeah, they should. I mean, for one, you're not going to have Marshawn Lattimore. He is out for the game. You also got Slant Boy. Michael Thomas is out for the game.
Michael Thomas has been out since 2020. Or
yeah, that's true.
So
I think I mentioned in our on Twitter when we were messaging back and forth a little bit that I think his last significant play was when he got hurt against the Bucs when they were trying to raise the score up.
Yeah, we're running up the score. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh, please, people, come on. Exactly. But no, the Saints are always a tough team. They have a good defense statistically, usually. You just don't know you just don't know what team's going to show up. I'm actually in the championship on my fantasy team, and Mike Evans is absolutely my number one wide receiver. I mean, he has just been doing fantastic.
This year. I want to ask you about him. If you look, and how long, I don't know. I'm going to start with this. How long have you been a Bucs fan?
I've been a Bucs fan, actual fan, since the mid 90s. So right after they changed from the creamsicles Now, I went to a game back in like 1985. It was against Green Bay. I can tell you that because I was in high school and I went back and looked and I was like, because I didn't remember anything because I wasn't a football fan at the time. But it was in the old Sombrero.
Uh-huh.
So it was a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
And then I was in the military and I went overseas and everyone was like, hey, what's your team? And I was like, well, my grandfather every time I went to my grandparents' house, they lived in St. Pete. And at the time I lived up in St. Augustine. And every time we'd go over on a Sunday, he was watching the Bucs, and of course complaining about him and all that. So of course I get to Japan and I'm like, and they were like, who's your team? And I'm like, it's the Bucs. And yeah, all the way. And to go back to your question about what do I think about Mike Evans? One, I think they need to pay the guy. We have not had an offensive weapon like Mike Evans. Well, you can see behind me since Mike Allstott. Honestly, the A Train was awesome. Actually, that was the first jersey I ever bought. Was Mike Allstott. But I would put Mike Evans as the leading scorer. I'm not sure statistically. I'm pretty sure he is the leading scorer when it comes to the Bucs history. I mean, the guy does so much for the team. He's a leader. He does so much for the community. You just cannot. You can't.
I want to piggyback off of that. I loved Kevin House. I loved James Wilder growing up. I loved Doug Williams growing up. Eric Rhett. I liked Eric Rhett. When he was a Buccaneer. There were just so many players that were out there. Horace Copeland, and I can tell you right now, this team and Mike Evans, and this was I'm going pre Super Bowl players that I'm kind of mentioning, and then you get to your Keenan McCardle, your Joe Jurevicius, just different wide receivers that have come and gone. Vincent Jackson is a huge name that actually comes up, and to me, Mike Evans, I've seen him play. I've gotten to see all of them play, and I can honestly tell you, without even a second of thought on it, Mike Evans is the greatest offensive player the Bucs have ever had, and I would argue that with anybody. Jonas Steckler. I am actually on my Surface Pro, man. I'm away from my computer. Next week I'll be back in my normal surroundings and doing my thing. Rocking my throwback Buck What You Heard t-shirt today. I felt nostalgic, so thought I'd throw that on. But no, I'm just house sitting for a friend and just grabbed the Surface Pro, man, and jumped on, and I just enjoying the season, man. It just feels like the season just started like 5 minutes ago, and here we are. We're winding down. Well, not winding down. I don't want to say winding down. I wouldn't jinx anything.
No, we're not winding down. We're winding up.
Yeah, we're getting to the last few. We're getting to the last few games of the regular season. I'll put it that way. Yeah. R.I.P. to Vincent Jackson. I met Vincent Jackson. He's an incredible human being. One of the most humble people. Him and Warwick Dunn are two of the most humble people I've ever personally met. So, Warwick Dunn's still doing his thing, helping people get into houses. And, he was an integral part of the Buccaneers, as they started rising to getting towards that Super Bowl. But kind of getting back to Mike Evans, you look at the quarterbacks that he's had, and everybody talks about what if. I honestly believe that if Mike Evans was on a larger market team, everybody would be beating the drum for Mike Evans to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, I can tell you, I will stop watching football if Mike Evans is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I promise you that, because there is no reason for him to not be, especially in the conversation. You look at the records that he's broken, the records he's continuing to break, and at his age playing at such a high level.
Absolutely. I mean, I cannot think of a better player. I mean, you even go back and look at Randy Moss, you
Yeah.
could see the decline in
Mhm.
his last year and a half. I mean,
Yeah.
and Mike there's no decline. I
Yeah.
mean, that move he did where he just kind of shifted one way, then, and
Yeah.
then just planted his foot and then just turned the other way and then got the touchdown. I mean, that was just wow. You
Yeah,
know.
and you look at how raw Mike Evans was when he came out of Texas A&M. When the Bucks got him, his route running was, he was very rough around the edges with his route running, and he just continued to get better and get better and get better. And now you look at him now, and he's got the nuances of being a wide receiver down, and he's doing things that he couldn't do when he first started, and it really shows. So I'm happy that he's here. And I would be very upset if the Bucks didn't try to keep him. Antoine Winfield Jr. is another one that, the way he's been playing consistently all year has really, I mean, you have to get him re-signed. I really hope they're negotiating that contract as well. These are two guys that the Bucks really need.
Absolutely. Yes. Totally. I mean, Antoine Winfield, I mean, I don't know if it's statistically he's the number one safety in the NFL right now, but if not, he's got to be up there. Like, I know he's top five. I mean, just some of the plays he makes. This last week wasn't super huge when it came to statistics, but he was there constantly.
Mhm.
Um,
And the intangibles, the way he rushes the passer, I
mhm.
mean, he is shout out to Jason Light. And I tell you, this is all homegrown talent that we're talking about here. And getting these guys in here, getting them in the right system, letting them go out and play to their strengths is just it's a wonderful thing to see.
Mhm.
So, what I kind of want to go back to talk about the Jacksonville game before we jump to the Saints. I know we've been kind of all over the place, but excited to have you on. And I'm gonna start myself with some of the takeaways that I saw from the game. I want to shout out our special teams as always. Special teams, the unsung heroes. They were some of the there were some of the biggest question marks right there with coaching for me, with special teams coming into the season and the way they performed. You wouldn't even think that the Bucks had a special team problem, and so getting them playing, watching them play, you lose Ryan Suckup, and then you got Chase McLaughlin coming in here, and just what he's done. Again, he's a second player removed from the Bucks having kicking problems. I don't know if we can go all the way back to 2018, you're back to
Oh yeah.
2017, 2016, and every time your kicker got on the field, you're on the edge of your seat, and you're scared to look, but you might look. You're scared to look. You're not sure, and you're
Is it going to
exactly.
happen? Is it going to make it?
I think the most traumatizing game was when Tom Brady and the New England Patriots came to town, and we had a kicking problem. And I wanted I've only been I love this game, but I don't take the game too serious. But there's been one time that brought me to tears, and that was when Barry Sanders got loose on a run, and the Bucks had bottled him up. The Bucks were winning, and Barry Sanders got loose, and it just broke me because the game was so close, and when that happened, it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Fast forward to now, and you're watching this game, and you're hamstrung because your kicking game is not in a place that it should be. But what Jason Light has finally hit on, he's gotten his kicker in free agency with Ryan Suckup. Then he turns around and he gets another kicker in here with Chase McLaughlin. And if you're a casual viewer of the Bucks, you don't realize that the Bucks had a kicking problem not that long ago. So to me, I mean, I'm always willing to give props to the special teams and what they do.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when they drafted Matt Gay, and you know, where is he now? He's with the Rams, isn't he?
Yep.
And
Wait
he's
a minute. No,
doing
he's with
fantastic.
he's with the Colts. I think he's with the
Colts.
Colts. Yeah.
Okay. He's with whoever he's. I mean, I know he's doing very well. I mean, and again, when you go back to that time period, it could have been coaching. Because we were in. Coaching means such a big deal, especially even for special
Thank you.
teams. You look at, again, last year it was kind of a physical thing with our kicker. Chase McLaughlin, younger guy, he's got a stronger leg,
Mhm.
and he's a free agent. It's like, no, we want him as a free agent. We
Yeah.
want to keep him. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Jason Light's got a lot. I mean, if you think about it, the players that we have on free agency right now, Chase McLaughlin, that are coming up for this next year, that you really want to re-sign. You want to re-sign them, pretty much most of them. Chase McLaughlin, you got Antoine Winfield, you got Mike Evans, you got Baker Mayfield. All right, those four alone are big.
Yeah.
Levante David, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got stars, and we've got to re-sign them all if at all possible.
And it's interesting that you say that. I feel the same way as you do, but I've kind of let it go. I've let a lot go because Jason Light has proven that he's a great general manager. And I'm going to say that in Bucs history, I have to put Jason Light as I did for the longest time. Rich McKay was my number one general manager. And I mean, you look at all the other general managers that the Bucs have had, people that have come and gone, rock stars and idiots and all the other, and I'm going to call them idiots because that's just what they were. And there was no direction for this team. I mean, after the Bucs won the Super Bowl, Rich McKay was gone. John Gruden is in there, and you would love him or hate him. He was the head coach when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. But you saw there was no direction for this team. It wasn't.
That's the way I look at it. I mean, that's the New England Patriots this year.
Yeah,
is what's going to happen because, Bill Belichick, may retire, may get traded, who knows, and then now they're going to have an issue because now they have no general manager because Bill Belichick was the GM and the head coach.
You're starting over from scratch.
They're going to totally start over from scratch. So, and we had to, and the Bucs had to do it too, but they made the right call when we got Jason Light.
100%. And you know what? He was learning as he was going. And and that's the one thing that really stuck out to me. I got to talk to him when we were in Germany. Great guy. 100% great guy. He's one of those people you can talk to. And, we had a conversation about draft picks. And I told him straight up, listen, you need at least 3 years for some of these guys, 4 years for others before you know what you really have in a player. Luke Gadecki is a great example of that, where we're seeing where he's coming into his own. You got players along that offensive line, Cody Mock, and what he's doing, coming into his own. He's coming into his own a little bit faster, but there are people that come and go and in their own time. And so just watching these guys grow and gel as an offensive line, what you have here is a formidable offensive line right now. There are some people that you can look at the draft if you want to, but what they've been able to accomplish right here is nothing short of amazing, because that was another one of my question marks coming into this season. You don't have Ryan Jensen. Ali Marpet is gone, and you're running with a bunch of unknowns. And
moving Tristan Wirfs from right tackle to left tackle.
Exactly. Again, another phenomenal Jason Light pick. And these are things that they've done as an organization. And, this kind of is a testament to what Dave Canales has done. This is a testament to what Todd Bowles has done, kind of coming full circle to talk about all of this. I was mad with Todd Bowles last year. I'm not even going to lie. There were games that I felt like the Bucs could have won had it been better play calling, better coaching overall, better clock management, and we just didn't see it. And for me, I was like, man, I'm just like, I'm over it. And then when you saw the first sign of problems, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with this guy. Launch his ass into the sun. Let's get him out of here. Let's get somebody else in here. But you know what? We don't know what goes on inside the locker room. What those guys did, they rallied around their coach. They rallied around each other. They're playing as a collective unit. You can't put statistics on what you're seeing from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing as a collective unit at team from defense, offense, special teams. You cannot put a statistic on that. But we've gotten to see a lot of that. They've cleaned up a lot of penalties. They've cleaned up back-breaking penalties and put themselves in a position to win, put themselves in a position to go to the playoffs. And this in itself speaks volumes about this team, the culture of this team right now, and where they are. Charles Jensen had mentioned, Tristan said he isn't comfortable at left tackle yet. And that's scary. That's scary when you're not comfortable and you're playing on that level. That's crazy. Here, folks, let me put this up here. Charles, thank you so much for checking out the show. I appreciate what you're saying. King Cook, as always, Antoine Winfield Jr. must get re-signed. There's no question about that. That was a draft pick that I think collectively is just one of the first times that the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan base, top to bottom, loved the pick. Everybody was happy with the Antoine Winfield pick. And
I remember when they did the pick, and I was actually on a Zoom meeting or something with Rendex from the Pewter Report back in the day, a few years ago, and we were all joking, and I was like, yeah, watch, second round pick is going to be a safety, and he's like, yeah, that just killed me. And then of course it was Antoine Winfield, and it's like, really? He was like, really a safety? But we were like, yes, really a safety. This guy is awesome. Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I look at Antoine Winfield Jr. and I look at all the people that were pissed off that we took Vita Vea instead of getting Derwin James. And I look at where Derwin James is right now versus where Antoine Winfield Jr. is right now. And I can tell you again, props to Jason Light, because, hey, look at where we are. I mean, seriously,
well, Jason Light is one of his big things is you fix the trenches and then everything else after that. And that's what you do. You fix because if you have a good offensive line, you have a quarterback that has a couple of extra seconds to look down the field to make that second or third read.
100%.
If you have the good guys up, the big guys up front, like we have on our defense, you got the Vita Veas and all that are runs, you can't run against them.
Yeah.
You can't run against them. So then you're one dimensional, and then your back end does better and they're able to, work to their strengths. Yeah.
Totally get that. Exactly.
I love that Charles Jansen says we have a Hulk. I mean, that reminds me from Avengers, he's like,
exactly.
Well, I'm a god and I'm like, I got this. And he's like, what do we have? We have a Hulk,
I have to ask you guys, everybody in the chat, I would love to get your grade. Now we're 2 games left into the left in the regular season. How do you grade the offseason? And I'm including pre-agency, I'm including the draft and some of the undrafted free agents that the Bucs were able to pick up, such as a Christian Izien, or I'm sorry, as where is it? Is it are you going A, B, C, D, or F when you're looking at the body of work of this team, including the laps where you had the losing streak, and you look at who the Bucs had, and you look at what the salary cap looked like, and where the Bucs are right now? How do you guys grade this offseason transaction-wise? And I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat, and I will definitely put your comments up here. And to that, and Charles, thank you so much. Great point right here. We were supposed to win 3 games, according to some of your prognosticators out here. I remember, and I'm not going to call a name of the organization because I hate them, and I do not want to draw attention to anything about them. But one of their their leader, who's on NBC all the time, it'll kind of give you a clue of where I'm talking about. And a former quarterback that played for the Bucs. Those idiots had nothing good to say about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the beginning of the season. But we can see that, what's going on inside the organization. They've got a totally different sense of things than what other people are doing. So, again, shout out to the organization and the way they've got it going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, they lost Tom Brady. That's the worst thing ever. We lost our quarterback. But
Yep.
they forgot that there's still Mike Evans. They forgot that there's still Vita Vea, that Tristan Wirfs is still there. I mean, that you still have some, Levante David, who's needs to be in the Pro Bowl. If you're voting, vote for him for the Pro Bowl, because the guy is phenomenal, running all over the place, and we'll see.
Yeah.
What's the next few steps. But
look at some of when you look at the moves, and let's kind of roll through that to this point. With Baker Mayfield, the Baker Mayfield Todd Bowles apology tour. If the Bucs win on Sunday and they beat the Saints, and we bring out the broomsticks, I have no choice but to start the Buck What You Heard Baker Mayfield Todd Bowles apology tour. And I've done this before where I've been wrong. I don't mind being wrong. This is one of those times I hope I'm wrong. I hope to God I'm wrong, because I'm happy to every week I will come out there and apologize to these guys because I doubted them. I didn't believe in them, and I wasn't 100% in on it. It's called the Buck What You Heard apology tour. If you go back and look at the years past, there have been players that I've been like, no, this isn't, he's not him. And it turns out that this is a guy. So, it's gonna be fun. I'm glad to be wrong. And I'm human. I don't mind being wrong. I'm not an NFL insider, but I love the game. I'm passionate about the game. I'm passionate about this team. So,
yeah,
it's gonna be
for me. I wanted to see Trask start. Yeah, I'm a Florida fan. I'll say it, but it wasn't for that. It was, okay, you spent a second round pick on this guy. Let's see what you got. Well, obviously, like you said earlier, we're not in there. We're not in the quarterback room. We're not in there behind closed doors. They probably see something and said, you know what, we need to upgrade if we can. And Baker Mayfield is an upgrade. He was a number 1 draft pick for a reason. The guy is good. He's had some really, when he was with the Browns, I think they had 3 or 4 different offensive coordinators while he was there. Right. Every time they turned around, they changed offensive coordinators. So he was having to learn a new system, it seemed like, every year. And, really, if you look at in the play calling that we're doing now, it's really going to Baker's strengths.
Exactly.
He's seen the field very well. He is. Sometimes I'm holding my breath at some of the throws because they're in some pretty tight windows. But he trusts his receivers that they're going to catch the ball, and he's not afraid to bake. Let's put it that way.
You know what? I think a lot of that is comfort. I think a lot of that is a learning curve that the offensive coordinator had. And I think the last part of that is the head coach not wanting to put himself in harm's way. But we saw Todd Bowles throw his nuts on the table. Boom.
Yeah. Last 2 games, we're going for it on 4th down.
Bowles.
I've never seen Todd Bowles do anything like that. I was like, what? Where's this?
You know what? I call him 4th down Bowles now. I'm behind. I'm 100% behind 4th down Bowles. I don't care what nobody says. If 4th down Bowles is out there, you had playoff Lenny, but now you've got 4th down Bowles. And that's the guy we can get behind that guy. You know what? And I would talk to people. I'll talk crazy to people if they want to doubt, Todd Bowles. Hey, we're going to go for it on 4th down. We have the talent. We have the matchup. And I trust my offensive coordinator. We going for it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. We're going to win this game. We're not going to tie. We're not looking for overtime. We're looking to win this game. We're looking to push the ball down the field. And to me, that's what makes this game even more exciting right now. when I know that Todd Bowles will come out there and say, you know what, we've got this matchup. I think we've got a play call that we match up well against what the defense has out there right now. I think we can go out there and win that matchup. And to me, that's exciting. That's football right there. Not, oh no, well, let's try to play to get a tie and go into overtime and see what happens. No, you throw your nuts on the table, boom, we're going for it. Let's go get it.
Yeah. I think also Dave Canales has really learned a lot this year. Kind of going back with what you have on the screen there from Charles is, the beginning of the year, I think they were playing for third downs. They weren't playing for first downs all the time. That was, okay, well, instead of trying to push the ball down the field, let's just work on these 10-yard line of scrimmage, just get a few yards here, and then we still got second and third down, and then we'll try to get the first down there instead of, hey, it's first down, let's push the ball down the field and try to get another first down and then another first down,
So again, it's just like an evolution here. And I really feel like, and it's just been 2 games that we've really seen Todd Bowles just like emboldened by this. But I think Todd Bowles is 100% confident in his offensive coordinator now. And he's not scared. And he's not, he's not giving it a second thought. Hey, let's go out here and do this. And that's kind of where he is right now. And to me, that's exciting for me as a fan. Hey, I trust everybody around me. Let's go out here and execute and do this and win this game. I mean, right now, I'm so emboldened that I know a lot of people we're looking at draft picks. I've never been one to look for draft picks. I would rather see the Bucs win games rather than them lose games and get a draft position. It's never been my thing. But what you have right now is a team that is working together as a unit, and they're a collective unit. And it's exciting to see, and I hope to see more. This is something I really hope to see on Sunday when New Orleans comes to town. This is going to be a very telling game because of the rivalry that the Bucs have. If the Bucs can go out there and win this game and put themselves in a position where, hey, you never know, they may want to rest players. I don't agree with that either. But
I think Todd Bowles said that recently, that he doesn't plan, even if they lock the division up this week when they beat the Saints, that he doesn't plan on resting them when it comes to against Carolina.
Because you want them hot. You want your players hot going into the playoffs. And you've got the Dallas Cowboys. You're looking at the Dallas Cowboys coming to Tampa.
Not necessarily. Now, I was actually looking at something, and it depends on.
Well, tell me more.
It could be the Eagles, because the Eagles are not playing great. Dallas is playing pretty decent. Dallas can still win that division, and Eagles will be the wild card. There is a chance.
Wow.
It's not great, but there is a chance where Philly could come back and go. I mean, think about it. At the beginning of the year, when we played Philly, the tush push, as everyone said, don't let them get into that situation. But our defense wasn't playing real well. Our offense wasn't really gelling. They are now.
The emergence of Kalijah Cansey and Yaya Diaby and KJ Britt, some of these guys that were not mentioned in the offseason. These are guys that are out here balling out.
I was excited when I saw that when we drafted Yaya. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not an Alabama fan, but I was like, Alabama knows how to make
that guy is a freaking monster. And I don't even think we've seen even 10% of what this guy is capable of doing. I mean, this guy is a monster. And you know what? I love Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. I love the pick personally, but if there are players out there that can play better, that can do more for you and put you in a better position to succeed, those are the players you need out on the field. So, if it isn't JTS, let's get Yaya, get him more time.
JTS is very good against the run. He's just not great against, rushing the passer. So, it could be something that they may want to experiment with for maybe next year or whatever is have
Mhm.
JTS on one side and Yaya on the other, so that way they may be able to counterbalance each other,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
because JTS
So
has not been bad when it comes against the run. It's just that he just can't get home, seems like.
yeah, and that's the one thing that we've been waiting for. I mean, his rookie season, the times that he was able to see the field, his second season, times that he was able to see the field, and what he was able to do. He was so close to getting home, this close, but he just couldn't get it done. And we're still seeing that even to this day. This is what we're still seeing. And after I would say after 4 or 5 seasons is when you're like, this is who you are. Kind of like with
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, we can, I'm pretty much like, this is who this guy is, unless he does a Geno Smith and gets with a quarterback friendly coordinator that can put him in a position to succeed. I just it's got to be the right. I think it's got to be the right fit for him. So real quick, I can't believe we've been talking as long as we have, but real quick, I did want to get your thoughts because you've been following the Bucs for some time now, and so you've experienced the hard times, you've experienced the good times. I had somebody, and normally on Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, I love social media. I love interacting with people. I don't like arguing with people. I don't like telling people they're stupid or they're wrong or if that's your opinion, there's no wrong way to be a fan in this realm here. You could be one of those guys that is a fan when teams are winning or whatever. I get that. But somebody had mentioned, because I do not like Byron Leftwich, excuse me, Byron. I do not like Byron Leftwich. I when he was so arrogant as to say that basically that there's nothing wrong with his play calling, and he didn't want to make adjustments and this, that, and the third. When you look at this team and where this team has turned the corner and the confidence that your quarterback, and this is not Tom Brady, this is Baker Mayfield out here making plays, statistically playing a better brand of football than we saw last year. And so to me, it speaks volumes about the offensive coordinator, the play calling, and just the different things that they dialed up. Even let's kind of drill down here and call it situational football, which is pretty much what it is. I really don't believe that this Byron, he wanted to do it his way. So for me, I was like, I'm glad he's gone. And there was a conversation, and somebody who had mentioned that Byron, if you look at the film, Byron, there was nothing wrong with the way Byron was play calling. But I can tell you for a fact, my wife, I love her to death, could sit here with me and watch the game, and she could call when a run was getting ready to happen.
We had the same formations all the time. Anytime we were going to run the ball, every first down we were going to run it. I mean, it was predictable. It was very predictable. Now, I mean, I'm really hoping Dave Canales really opens up the playbook that he had during the first Saints game, where there was a lot of movement, where the Saints just didn't know what was coming, because you had Palmer was in motion a lot of times. You had Godwin in motion a lot of times. I just think that that is the way of the new NFL. You can't just stick to you can't just stick to the antiquated ways.
You can't.
We're old guys. I mean, I'm mid 50s. You're much younger than me, probably. You look younger anyway. But you can't just we're going to run up the middle every time whenever we run.
No, we could do that. You could do that in the 90s.
Yeah, you just can't, because it just doesn't work anymore. The linebackers are just too fast. The offensive linemen, they can block, but your defensive linemen can block too. And you've got to go with the movement. You got to go with the next generation, the next set of movement. When Bruce Arians won the Super Bowl, with us with the Bucs. Okay, star-studded team.
That was a marriage. That was a marriage. I'm gonna say that was Tom Brady.
That was Tom Brady,
Bruce Arians, and a little bit of Byron Leftwich. And I'm going to tell you that right now, that was a marriage. That wasn't this amazing offensive coordinator coming out here putting all this together. No, that was the coming of the minds, a holy trinity or whatever you want to call it. That's what it was. And Byron had a chance to put his own footprint on this team and come up with something that was going to bring them into this. Because I mean, you look at teams like the Eagles, you look at teams like the Chiefs, you look at teams like the 49ers, you look at teams like the Rams. These are guys, these are offenses that are high-powered offenses, and you get them going, and your defense is going to be on their heels the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it comes down to. So to me, this is a guy that his mindset was back to the mid to early 2000s. He wasn't a guy that was trying to advance with the times and put his talent in a position to succeed. So again, I have always believed, just like you said, coaching is important. The right coach is important. We've had bad coaches, from Schiano to Lovie Smith to Raheem Morris to now,
to be fair for Raheem, I think Raheem will be a good head coach at one point. I just think at the time he was not ready for it. He was too young. I mean, because he went from defensive backs coach to defensive coordinator to head coach like within a week or something. I mean, it was ridiculous. Yeah. They were afraid he was going to be the next Mike Tomlin. And that is not the way a general manager should work. You don't be afraid. If somebody poaches one of your coaches, next man up, or go find somebody else.
I'm gonna say this to you. You need to go and look at Mark Dominic's resume. I mean, before we even go down that path, that guy had no business being a general manager of anything. Little league soccer or Pee Wee soccer or just anything.
Maybe a Best Buy, right?
Yeah, there you go. He could have possibly, maybe. but honestly, where we are right now, I think as a Bucs fan, we are so blessed to be where we are right now. And I don't believe people understand that. I mean, if you didn't live through Mark Dominic, if you didn't live through Bruce Allen, if you didn't live through some of your other general managers in the past, it's something that I appreciate where we are right now. And I can't stress that enough. But anyway, I do want to jump ahead and talk about this New Orleans Saints game. And I want to get your keys to victory. What do you think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers need to do so that we could bring them brooms out and go ahead and sweep this under the rug?
Sweep. I agree. Carr does not scare me at all anymore. I remember
scared me.
When he was with Oakland, he was a fair quarterback, and the Saints. I really think the hardest problem we're going to see is going to be how is Baker going to deal with the Saints, because their defense is pretty good, is really good actually. Even without Marshawn Lattimore, which I think is a huge boost, because one, Mike Evans is not going to get ejected out of this game. All right, because Mike Evans was like, you're not going to mess with Tom Brady. I mean, you had the shirt on the other day, and it had that's the legend. That's the legend, the legend there. And where he was like, no, you're not messing with Tom Brady. I'll take you out. And of course, got ejected for it, but it was worth it.
Heck yeah, I got a shirt out of it.
Yeah. But no, that one, keep your heads. Yes, it is a divisional game. The Saints are, notoriously able to push the Bucs buttons. So keep your heads in the game. Don't for Baker, don't get too cocky, arrogant. If there is a open receiver, throw to the open receiver. Don't do Jameis 2.0. Let's just make sure that's for the defense. If they can bottle up Kamara, it's game over. You know, I mean, he's like their only weapon, I think, right now, and he's still, not the same Kamara that he was last year or the year before that.
Yeah.
So those are my keys to the game. Keep your head.
Yeah.
That's the main point. Keep your head in the game. Look. This is one time where you're able to look at the end of the game and say, "Look, if we can do this, we're NFC South champions, and we're going to the playoffs." Period.
Yeah.
That needs to be the end goal. Think about that while you're playing every down, every game. Don't let them. Did you see the video of Luke Gadecki? That Buccaneers.
Oh, that guy.
If those of you in the chat, if you haven't, you can look. You can find it on X or on Twitter. Of Luke Gadecki, he was hilarious. He was talking smack to the other team, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah.
I can't even think of what they were off the top of my head, but he kept saying, hey, look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. What's the score?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and again,
keep
one
their
of
heads
those,
like that. Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's come into his own. Again, he's somebody that a lot of fans wanted to launch his ass into the sun. But what he's done is, continue to get better and better and better. And look at him now. And, I'm going to piggyback off of that. For me, the key right now is hitting Taysom Hill. Hit Taysom Hill. When Taysom Hill is on the field, that guy this guy's going to run the ball. Hit him. And that's kind of how you have to play him. And I think if you can neutralize Taysom Hill, I think, with, as you mentioned, Alvin Kamara, he hasn't been the same as the Alvin Kamara of previous years. Slance McGee is not in. He's out. Chris Agave, another guy that, he can make plays. So, again, do your job, take care of your assignments, and don't overthink anything. Just get out there and do what you do. And I believe
open up the floodgates for Yaya.
Exactly. And again, if you're at least putting pressure on Carr, it's going to take him out of his game. I can tell you for a fact, personally, and if you've watched the show, you guys know what I say. Sacks are sexy, but pressures work just as well. And I believe that if you can get pressure on him, if Carr is hearing footsteps, we know this guy's been injured a few times throughout the season. He's not, his confidence, I'm sure he's got confidence, but it isn't where it was at the beginning of the season. I really believe that if they can get that pass rush cooking, you got something big right there. And again, and every Saints fan, they want to try to talk up Jameis Winston, but again, we know what the product is. We've all seen it. We've all been there.
We've
seen
it for
this
4
movie.
years.
Yeah, we know what this movie is. We know how this movie's going to end. I think Jameis Winston is a serviceable journeyman. He should have gone to the Steelers when he had the opportunity, and kind of work some kind of deal. I really believe that Jameis Winston would be a starter with the Steelers right now, just based on their quarterback situation. And it would have been a missed opportunity for him. But again, if he wants to collect paychecks, with the New Orleans Saints and sit in as a backup, I think that was a wake-up call for him when they gave Derek Carr that humongous contract, when they overpaid him.
They're stuck with him again next year.
Yeah,
there's no way. I mean, they're gonna right now, if the plays out, they're gonna get a top 10 draft pick, and they're not gonna be able to draft a quarterback because they're gonna be stuck.
But and again, in the beginning, I was like, man, Mickey Loomis always manages to get these players. But when you look at the Saints' body of work after that Super Bowl till now, and all the missed opportunities that this team had, you have a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback under center, and you waste all that. You miss this play here, you miss this play here, penalty here, no call here. instead of having a sense of urgency and getting it done, they were not able to get it done. The real talk, to be honest, in the right organization with the talent that they had, the Saints should have won 2 Super Bowls easily. And I'm not just saying that to be, make this, just trying to make the show, but what they had, they had everything they needed, but they didn't get it done. And every single time you get to go to the playoffs and you walk away with nothing, it closes the window a little bit tighter. And right now where they are, you're looking at a Cam Jordan. This Cam Jordan right now does not look like the Cam Jordan of even 2 years ago. So this is a team that, when you look at them, they've been making plays, they've been doing this and doing that, but I think they're going to have to blow that team up. If they lose to the Bucs and they don't make the playoffs, I can honestly see them moving on from their quarterback, and I can see them blowing up that team, offense and defense, and just starting over from scratch.
It's going to start with their the whole coaching staff too.
Yeah, 100%. Not the general manager, but the coaching staff.
Yeah, because Sean Payton, for as good as he is, like right now, it was just announced that they're benching Russ Wilson, because Sean Payton doesn't like him basically, and plus there's he's due like a $35 million extra if he gets injured or something. I don't know, something like that. It's like okay, but I will stand on that soapbox all day long. Coaching matters. It really does. Coaching matters.
Oh yeah, Will the Brewer. What's going on, my man? Will the Brewer. I'm trying to get Will the Brewer to make me a Buck What You Heard beer. I really want this. But in the meantime, Will the Brewer, I am drinking Badass Bunny with a Chainsaw. Good beer, really good. So I love the indies. I love independent breweries and that kind of thing. It's my thing. I really appreciate it. But I thought Will the Brewer would appreciate that. My guy. Hopefully, one of these days, I just know I've got my fingers crossed. Will the Brewer is going to come up with a Buck What You Heard IPA. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's just going to be up there and the heavens will open up and everything will be right with this universe. But anyway, enough about that. So what are your big plans for the weekend? There's a lot of college games. This is just so weird that we have New Year's and Christmas falling the way they do. And a lot of these bowl games are coming up, and a lot of games that are coming up around the same time as, the NFL. So it's kind of weird, not a normal thing, but every so often you get all the stars aligned at the same time. And it's kind of where you are.
Yeah, I went to one college game this year, and it was enjoyable because I liked the live experience.
Yeah.
But I don't really care, honestly. I'm not like Trevor Sycamore or any of these guys who are watching this stuff, with draft implications, because I don't care about the draft right now. I care about, one, beating the Saints this week, getting the NFC title done, go on to Carolina, beat them, and let's go ahead and get to the playoffs. That's what I'm concentrating on right now. Let's just worry about finishing the job for 2023, get to the playoffs, and then I'll go back and look at some college tape, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a big tape person. That's Real Bucs talk. If I want to see anything, I go to their channel and I watch whatever they put on.
I love Real Bucs talk. We have a tight relationship. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I should probably be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is my show. We're going to be hanging out for Gasparilla. So It's going to be me and Pless and some friends of ours, and we're going to be throwing beads to the masses. So it's going to be exciting. I've loved Gasparilla since I was about 5, and it's always been my dream. I'm going to be in that parade, and when it happened, it's just like, man, it just was the greatest thing ever, and I've just been kind of doing it. And
I moved out of Tampa, I think 1992, 91, 92, somewhere in there. And I think 1988 88 or 89 was my last Gasparilla that I went to. So it was a long time
A
ago.
long time ago.
But yeah, no, there's not,
I really believe, and I think right now Gasparilla is the second or third largest parade in America. Which
it was a blast. I remember it was a blast,
bro.
but that was
and
40 years ago.
And now, they've got sponsors, and they've got seating, and you can buy tickets to sit here, and you can get food, and you can get all this stuff is going on. All these parties are going on for Gasparilla, and I'm telling you what, man, there is nothing like it, and it's just probably one of the funnest times I have throughout the year. So I'll be doing the kids parade with the grandkids. And then I'll be doing a day parade with Pless and some of my other friends, some friends from Loose Cannons. And, we're going to get out there and we're going to have a blast. So I'm really looking forward to it. This is Tampa. And anytime I can get to really be immersed in something like this is really special to me because Tampa really means a lot. The city of Tampa means a lot to me. It really does.
Yeah, I miss living there. I mean, I lived there for several years. Let's see, I moved there I grew up in St. Augustine, and then we moved
I love
down
St.
there.
Augustine too, man. That is a blast.
Yeah, I lived in St. Augustine for first 17 years of my life, and then I was there for I think 6 or 7 years in Tampa, and I always called Tampa home. Even though I grew up in St. Augustine, Tampa was home. My folks still lived there at the time. They lived up in Wesley Chapel. So,
yeah.
So I mean, and
I've got stories about Wesley Chapel.
And my wife's mom lived in Brandon. So, and her dad lived over in St. Pete. So, I mean, I ended up getting to know the area so well. It was funny when you're first learning to drive and learning how to drive in Tampa. A lot of close calls, but I was able to get through.
And I'm sure the statute of limitations is up, but I'm not going to give anybody up. But I think I was 12. I was actually 12 when I learned how to drive. And there was actual alcohol involved and stuff. But it wasn't me, but I was the actual designated driver, and so it's one of those Florida man stories right there. So. But anyway, I can't believe we've been on here an hour. Again, thank you so much for jumping on. Maybe I can, kind of drag you on next week. We will have.
I'm available. I'm retired. So, and living here, I live in Georgia. For those of you watchers out there, I live in South Georgia, and I have no one to talk Buccaneers with except for my son. And and he lives on his own with his buddy. So I see him once in a blue moon. So any chance I get to talk about Buccaneers, I love it. So
there you go. Yeah. Charles says should have learned how to drive in Naples much easier than Tampa.
True.
Yeah, there you go. But I want to try to get you on next week, and we will be talking. I'm going to have Ashley Abrams on. I don't know if you're familiar with EMT Ashley.
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah, she is amazing,
especially with all that's going on. I mean, she'll hopefully she'll talk about that.
That's something I'm not a drama dude. I just like I've had her on like early on in the show, but we've always missed each other, and we've just never been able to like link up and have her on. So hopefully she's committed to next week, and we'll try to get her on and get her perspective on, the Bucs. I think she's in the same boat with us, where again, I've got the Baker Mayfield, a Todd Bowles apology tour getting ready to roll up as soon as the Bucs announce that, hey, we're going to be in the playoffs. We're going to host a playoff game. If that happens, then, I have to eat crow, and I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be wrong. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to. And, again, I appreciate that. Krillin, my man Krillin, Charles, all these people that are in the chat. First of his name, thank you. All you guys, thank you so much for being in here. It's greatly appreciated. A lot of people, you don't have to get in and engage with people, but I want to give this opportunity to people to really talk about it. And next week, I will have the phone lines open. I hope that people will, take advantage and call in and give me your thoughts. I will have the phone lines open, and we're gonna make a party of this. So, look at this. We've got KB coming in the clutch.
Oh, yeah.
And my man, fourth quarter KB coming in here. TY, thank you so much. I appreciate that. KB coming in fourth quarter, 2-minute warning. And what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm a sales rep, second to last day of the year, so things are a little crazy, but I figured I'd pop on and say hi for a couple minutes.
Thank you. Hey, just want to get your perspective on this Buccaneers team from the offseason to where we are now. And there will be a Baker Mayfield Todd Bowles apology tour, it looks like, and it'll be running full steam as soon as the Bucs are announced that they will be hosting that playoff game.
I'm going to say my superlative there. We're going to call him Shikra. So all you Tampa fans familiar.
Oh yeah, I love that ride.
Well, the beginning of the season is you're going on that steep uprise, right? Those first month of the season, everything was looking wonderful, and then you hit that 90-degree straight drop, losing 6-7, and then you immediately come back up from that stuff. So we're going to call it Shikra today. Montu's my favorite ride at Busch Gardens, a lot more side to side, up and down. I don't think our team has looked quite Montu-like, but we're going to do Shikra, where it's straight up, straight down, and straight back up again. It's kind of where we're at right now. I'm all for the Baker apology tour. Todd Bowles, whatever you put in your Wheaties or your coffee or what spiked your milk for the eggnog. I don't know what he was drinking, or eating, whatever it is, just keep doing it, because the way he game managed, he even took timeouts right before the half. Wound up kneeling. Yeah. I thought it was the right decision to kneel, but it was like he even used his timeouts and was like, "Hey, our offense is humming. Let's try to get one more shot at this." And they had a really good punt, and I thought it was a good decision to knee. But every part of his game management last week, it just didn't line up with everything he's done all season.
Exactly.
So Baker Mayfield, I think, has shown, even though my biggest thing about Baker is he hasn't been consistent all year, but I think he's been more consistent at his job than Todd Bowles has at his. So Todd Bowles, I think, is a little bit more wait and see. Baker and Canales, it may not be the best. It's not going to be Mahomes and, Reed or whatever, but I don't know what more you could really ask. When you look at the numbers, when you look at the highs of what it looks like, the lows haven't been too low. Like he's not sitting here with, Josh Allen, 15, 20 turnovers for the season. He's right on line with what Plus's mark was, which is between like 8 and 9. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask from Baker, but from a team perspective, everyone's, for the most part, other than Carlton's, really healthy. I'm just really encouraged. I mean, if they lose to the Saints, I mean, yes, you have the Panthers, but I think this would be a statement game going into the playoffs, and I think being able to put away a division foe, I'm not going to say rival, we're going to say foe, at home. Because let's be real, until last game, the Bucs in the Todd Bowles era have not been a great home team. So let's have them. I was with Pless when the Bucs played the Saints in 2021, and Godwin went down, and our whole wide receiver room got hurt, and we got shut out at home when it was a complete red out, Gene. I've never seen so much red in my life. So all I want is for there to be so much red on Sunday and the Bucs to pull it off.
Yep, we really need that. And that's a great point right there, man. Again, you know how I was when they announced Baker Mayfield was going to be the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was pretty indifferent. And
it's the money. That was the best part about it. It was, even I didn't love it, But for $6 million, I don't know what more you can ask for.
You really can't. And again, I think that if you're smart, you need to kind of look at the market and see who might potentially be out there. I understand Baker, totally get it, but just taking a look just to see, because again, this is just a sample size, and it was inconsistent throughout the season, and you're pretty much hitching your wagon to this guy if that's what giving him that contract. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
I'm hoping.
Go ahead, Ken.
Sunday. I was gonna say one step at a time. Let's get through Sunday, and then we can talk extension. Let's see how we look in the playoffs. Then we can worry about the offseason. Let's just get there.
100%. I'm right there with you. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you, David Walsh. Thank you so much. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
Best way to get a hold of me is on Twitter. Is at the David Wash. WASH. That's Wash.
Walsh. I'm sorry. I've got the Niners on the brain. I'm sorry. Wash. Because I got to, you wash your.
Yeah, Wash. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the easy way to remember it. Wash.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Kim Barrett, not to be mistaken for Shaq Barrett, who was playing. He played pretty well, but tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
On Sundays, you know where to find me on Twitter. I will be saying everything as it happens. Good or bad or indifferent.
I love following.
That's how I got to meet these guys, is by following Ken on Twitter, and then he started telling me about Gene's show, and so I was like, oh, I gotta check this out, and then Ken's hilarious. You guys gotta follow him, definitely.
Exactly. I love it. There's nothing better. And for me, you could follow me on Twitter, or the artist formerly known as Twitter X. You follow me, I will follow you back. Unless you are an OnlyFans bot, I will have to block your ass. Sorry, it's not happening. And I didn't realize that I had a second job, which is blocking bots on Twitter X, but it's become a full-time job. So again, I don't want your crypto, and I don't want to spend $3 a month to follow you on OnlyFans. So it's not happening. Just forget it. But anyway, good game coming up. Division rival. These are the division. The next 2 weeks are division weeks. Let's have some fun. Great time to be a Bucs fan. When you consider the amount of money the Bucs were down, what the salary cap looked like at the beginning of the season and where we are now. Super exciting. So guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy New Year to everybody. If I don't get to talk to you before then, follow us on Twitter. We will be having fun, and we'll see you guys here next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place. And we'll check out the fallout from this game. But anyway, that's it for us, and we are out of here. Peace.
Peace.